baptism is not a work. When St. Paul says that we're saved by faith apart from works of the law, sometimes he says apart from works, that he means that we're saved apart from any human action or that we're saved apart from anything like baptism. Now, as I think we're going to see, this misunderstands the Pauline sense of works. But for now, suffice it to say that no passage anywhere in the Bible ever describes baptism as a work. And St. Paul explicitly says in Titus 3 that we're not saved by deeds done by us in righteousness, but that we are saved by the washing of regeneration and renewal in the Holy Spirit. If that sounds like baptism, it's because it is. So Paul believes both that baptism saves and that it's not our deeds that save. It's not works that save. And just as we saw in Titus 3, the early Christians realized that baptism isn't a human work, but it's God's work and the means by which God saves us by grace. Titus 3, St. Paul says we're not saved because of deeds done by us in righteousness, but that we are saved by the washing of regeneration and renewal in the Holy Spirit. So we're not saved by our deeds, by our works. We are saved by baptism. Ergo, trust Paul, not Ryan, about what Paul means about works. There you go. I mean, quite clearly in Titus 3, St. Paul says on the one hand, we are not saved because of deeds done by us in righteousness. But on the other hand, we are saved by the washing of regeneration and renewal in the Holy Spirit. So that washing, that water with Spirit, that very much sounds like baptism, and that is how that passage was historically understood. It neatly seems to show baptism is not a work. Now, this raises all these questions. What does it mean to be a work? So here's Ferris from HowToBeChristian talking about 4 different ways we can understand the word work in the Bible depending on the context.
Like in the Bible, there's works of the law, there's works of the flesh, there's works of God, there's good works, also known as works of love. These are all different categories of works that the Bible discusses.
Now just think that through. Baptism is clearly not a work of the Mosaic law. It wasn't part of the Mosaic law at all. It's not a good work in any ordinary sense of that word. It's not something you've done that people are like, wow, what a hero of our community. He got baptized as a baby. It's not even a work in the ordinary sense of an active verb. Like belief is much more of an active verb. I believe, I trust, I make an act of the will, whereas baptism is something you receive. So it's not a work in that third sense, and it's certainly not a work in the sense of a work of the flesh, or else it would be evil to be baptized. Ryan hasn't shown any sense that baptism was understood by Paul to be a work, but more importantly, he doesn't just need to show that under some grammatical sense of the word work, maybe it could be. He needs to show that this is the kind of work that St. Paul is saying that we're saved apart from, when St. Paul himself says that we're saved through baptism and not the things he's calling works. Whatever Paul means by works clearly doesn't include baptism.